Well, it's Monday, February 3rd, 2025. We are at the beginning of the second month of the year, and a lot of people, when it came to Trump, said he's not a warmonger. So one of the things that we banked on, one of the things that we counted on was the idea that, well, he's not like the Biden administration and the previous administrations, Obama and such, and warmongering, wanting to always create war. No, he's not like that. Well, apparently, when it comes to trade wars, it's a little bit different. Donald Trump doesn't have a problem with trade wars. Let me just say this up front. We're going to get into it, but I think you should brace yourself, America. I think everybody, it's not a partisan thing. My MAGA folks, my left blue Democrat folks, the Harris supporters from back in the day, the Biden supporters from back in the day, whoever you are, wherever you are, independent, left, right, it doesn't even make a difference. If you're American, especially if you're in the middle class, you need to prepare yourself because gloom and doom is coming, my friends. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Time to Talk podcast. I am glad to have you here. I appreciate you here. To the people who've already subscribed, thank you for joining me. People who have not subscribed, take a moment, hit that subscribe button, and hit the little notification bell so you know when I put up new content. I want to talk about Trump, and he's implemented these tariffs, right? Everyone's talking about it. The tariffs. I want to give you my take on it and tell you what I think, because I'm sure you've heard plenty of people going back and forth. Obviously, let's just fundamentally speaking, what is the goal here? The goal is to basically twist the arm of other people that we deal with, other countries that we trade with, to get them to do what we want, what he wants, what Trump wants. Let's leave it at that, right? To get these countries in line. Do what I say. I'm the big bad guy on the block now, and I'm telling you you're going to have to acquiesce to my demands. Do what I say or get a tariff. Okay? That's what this is about. Trying to supposedly stop the influx of fentanyl that's coming into our country and killing our people, right? So this is designed to somewhat get Mexico and Canada and places in line to say, hey, look, help us work on this problem or you're in trouble, my friend. We're going to put a tariff on you, which is what he did. Same thing with the immigration crisis, which we can all agree, just like the fentanyl issue, we can all agree we don't want that in our country. We don't want people dying from that. We can all agree that the immigration crisis got out of hand during the Biden administration. We have far too many people in this country, far too many illegal people in our country, far too many criminals and lunatics and gangs in our country. We can all agree on that one, right? So yeah, okay, we want to get Mexico and Canada in line to help us fix some of our problems, right? We've got China, same thing. Now, we are at a serious, when it comes to trade, we're at a trade deficit. In other words, we import way more than any other country imports than what they import from us. And there's a reason for that. There's an economic reason. I'm not an economist, and I'm not going to sit here and go through, world economics and try to debate the whole situation. But I can tell you that part of the reason for that is a lot of the manufacturing, especially in a place like China, is far cheaper. They have an entire different labor situation going on over there. Their manufacturing is better. They produce some really good stuff, and we've been importing their stuff for years. And there's a reason why your iPhone doesn't cost $5,000. Instead, it costs $2,000, which is still astronomical. But point is, we've got a major trade deficit with these other countries, and now they're striking back, and they want to impose tariffs on us. Canada, Mexico, I believe China has weighed in on this. I'm pretty sure so far Trudeau from Canada, as well as Mexico, have weighed in, and they're going to retaliate with their own tariffs on us, which won't affect us as much as the tariffs on them. But I digress. The bottom line here is the Trump people, the economic team behind him, whoever it is, and him specifically, are banking on a positive net effect. What does that mean? That means down the road, this will be good for you. But in the meantime, like working out, you got to take the pain. In the meantime, you're going to have to get through that set. You got to get through those miles. You got to do that 15-mile ruck with 60 pounds on your back. You got to get through it because down the road, it's going to be beneficial for you. And that's where this whole conversation gets a little crazy. I want to play for you quickly. This is Robert Lighthizer. Lighthizer. What a name that is. Lighthizer. Former trade chief under the Trump administration, the previous Trump administration. But listen to, this is from 60 Minutes interview recently. And I want you to listen to the last line of this interview. This is actually the end of the interview. It's the last question. And I want you to just listen to his answer.
What are the chances that you're wrong?
Well, once again, we tried it the other way, Scott. If we do this, in 10 years it doesn't work, we can go back and always fail again with the way we have in the past.
Okay, so surely that would stir you up the same way it stirred me up. If it doesn't work, in 10 years, we can always go back to the way it didn't work, and we can do equally as screwed no matter what. That's what he basically just said. Like, you know what? Because Scott asked him, like, what if this doesn't work? What if your plan that overall this is going to have a net benefit effect on America, right? With manufacturing coming back or jobs being created, which we'll get into in a second. But overall, the question was, what if this gamble, which is what it is, what if this gamble doesn't work? And this man's answer was, well, in 10 years, if we realize it's not working, we'll go back to doing something else, which got us in trouble as well and caused inflation. I just find that really unnerving on so many levels, because this whole thing, yes, is a gamble. Now, keep in mind, I mentioned this in one of my videos previously. I think we were talking about DEI, and we were talking about the mass deportations that are taking place and all the ICE raids and how that was like all the hype. In the last week or so, that's what we've been getting news-wise, right? We've been seeing, this is what everyone's outraged over, DEI stuff and the immigration deportations of people and the ICE raids. I said in one of those videos that, look, if he can bring the prices of eggs down, if prices start to come down, everyone's going to turn their head. Black, white, Hispanic, whatever. You're all going to turn your head. You're all going to bury your face in the pillow, and you're not going to give two darns about whether or not Trump is deporting Mexicans and Venezuelans and Colombians, and you're not going to care about DEI. You're seriously just going to be like, yo, eggs went back down. Everything went back down. Beef, like everything, chicken, everything is lower prices, and that's what's going to. That's the way it works. They can say whatever they want on the campaign trail. They can make all sorts of promises and talk about all sorts of different policies and things that might affect the American people. But the only thing that we really care about at the end of the day is our pockets. That's what we're going to care about. That's the only thing that's going to matter. A good majority, a huge majority of the population has no understanding of economic policy. They have no understanding of tariff. They have no understanding of trade deficits and trade. Like no one is paying attention to this. People want they want to make sure they have work. They want to make sure they can feed their families. They want to make sure the prices aren't ridiculous and they can, kick back with a beer or whatever it is they drink with their family, their loved ones, and be happy people and feel some sense of security. That's what they care. Everything else, the DEI stuff, the immigration stuff, anything to do with taxes and trade wars and this, that, and the other, it all just doesn't, no one cares. And I got news for you people. As I opened up this show with, we're in for a lot of pain. We are in for a lot of pain. Things are already out of control when it comes to pricing. The grocery bill, when we go to the grocery store and we shop, it is just out of hand. It's ridiculous. And I heard some other video, some other brother talking about the idea that he doesn't care. It's not a big deal about prices because he doesn't live extravagantly or he doesn't live above his means or too gaudy anyway. It's the words he used, gaudy, and he doesn't live an extravagant lifestyle. I'm like, yeah, okay, great. A lot of us don't. But there's plenty of people in the middle class, which has been being decimated for years now, that will feel this in some way or the other. Whether we have money, don't have, you're still going to feel it. My wife and I do not live a gaudy, extravagant lifestyle by any stretch, but we have 3 boys and we can feel the difference in egg prices and how much we're purchasing and what we're not purchasing and how frivolous we're being with our purchases and whatever extravagant things or whatever small little things that comfort things, we might be cutting back a little here or there, and that's just the way it is. This is going to affect a lot of people. And the idea that, 10 years from now, you'll thank Trump. I guess someone could take that approach. If you want to say that 10 years from now, all the manufacturing will be done here in America. All these jobs are going to be created here in America. We just got to get through this little pain point so that 10 years from now, everyone else is happy. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that simply because the corporations are going to wind up firing people. They're going to wind up laying people off. These price increases and what they have to do in order to manufacture, in order to stay at profit and keep capitalism alive, they're going to need to cut jobs. It's going back to manufacturing, as far as our trade deficit and why we import so much and all those other things. And what I believe we should be focused on is not creating a situation where we already have this inflationary economy and we already have people struggling to buy eggs and bread or decide to pay their rent or their electric bill, whatever it is. We should not be focused on making it worse. In the meantime, we should be focused on, hey, how do we improve our economy in terms of our workers? What do we invest in? Where do we put our resources? Where do we put our energy into? How about education? How about making sure there's jobs? How about, instead of focusing so much on DEI and cutting all these different things, why don't we figure out where we can improve America's standing in the world when it comes to our job skills, when it comes to education, when it comes to making sure certain communities have the resources available so that the talent can be fostered and we can actually make a difference in the world. Focus on those things. In the meantime, try to get the prices down from an inflationary standpoint, try to get the prices down. Use whatever economic policies you can. What you don't want to do is implement an economic policy, tariffs, that are 100% going to bite Americans in the ass immediately when they're already struggling. That's like being shot in the leg and then being told, listen, help is coming. And then someone shoots you in the leg again and says, well, hey, take another shot. Don't worry about it. When they get here, they'll fix you. That's nonsense. It's nonsense, my people. This is, and Trump's whole thing about there will be pain, but it'll be worth the price. There will be pain, but who are you telling that to? Because obviously you're not going to feel the pain. Musk is not going to feel the pain. The top 1%, whatever, is not going to feel the pain. Plenty of people. If you're super rich, you don't even care. You could actually take that gamble. You could say, hey, you know what? If 10, 15 years from now, this little plan of his works and we kind of get back to having a lot of, jobs here and manufacturing here and this all balances itself out, hooray for Trump. Because you won't feel it. The middle class is going to feel it. The poor people may not even feel it. Let me say this to you as well. And again, I'm no economic genius or economic economist or strategist whatsoever, but I can tell you now, the middle class being wiped out is the real problem in America. It's not the super rich people or the poor people. If you're super poor in this country, or you're even most recently, if you're an immigrant in this country, you got money, you had programs that took care of a lot of things for you. I'm not suggesting that the raise in prices doesn't affect poorer communities. That's not what I'm saying at all. But there is a big difference between being poor and on government assistance and having tons of programs available to you because of your economic status versus and being super, super rich where you could care less and being someone in the middle where you are unable to take advantage of those programs, but you're also not rich enough to sort of just dust off the effects of whatever's changing, whatever fluctuations happen to exist when it comes to pricing, when it comes to automobiles, when it comes to food, whatever it is, household goods and services. Childcare. The middle class is getting it is getting it bad. Okay? And there's no baby oil. All right? So America, brace yourself because you are definitely going to feel it. And to the MAGA people, and again, I'm not going to go down the road and suggest that, oh, hey, look, we told you so, you voted for Trump. I don't think you should turn on Trump or turn on, it's not about hating the MAGA. I listen to people all the time talk about hating these people. And I heard someone on the radio this morning talking about, I got neighbors and people I know, and there's a lot of MAGA people. I won't even talk, don't even look at me. We got nothing in common. Your values are not my values, so I won't talk. I'm angry. Okay, don't be angry. What I hope happens is that, yes, some of the people who were so pro-Trump, who think he's going to fix everything day one and think that getting rid of DEI policies and getting rid of the Mexicans or the brown people in our country, the people who think that's the most important thing, and I'm talking to my fellow white brothers and sisters, I pray that you have the wherewithal and the integrity and the understanding that these tariffs and how it's going to affect our economy is going to affect you as well. You and your red hat, you make America great again hat, you're going to be equally as affected. You are not above this, okay? Anyway, Time to Talk podcast. Hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate that. Join us here. We're growing the channel, and it definitely counts. Hit the like button on the way out. Let me know in the comments what you think of this trade war tariff situation and how am I dead wrong? Are you optimistic about this? Do you think that this is a good thing and we'll get through it? Or do you feel the way I feel and America is going to feel the crunch and you're going to feel the crunch? Let me know in the comments below. I truly appreciate that. And I will see you on the next Time We Talk podcast. Peace.